Okay, so this is starting to get ridiculous. As we are getting cooler, more mild climates now, we are seeing rodents coming out and trying to get into things. The Brookstone, I featured several times. We found rodent droppings inside. I was able to pull out some baby mice, baby rats, and it was just a mess. We were able to get all of it out with minimal issue, and then we had to do some work on the back end to try to get things back to the way it was. And that wasn't too difficult, but it was definitely stressful because you don't know if you're getting the entire problem solved or just a small part of the problem that you found solved. And as long as there is going to be, a lot of land out here, as long as there's going to be a lot of brush, as long as there's grass, there's going to be field mice, there's going to be rats, there's going to be, all sorts of different types of critters that can work their way into things that you own, including our brand new 2024 F450 Platinum. So yeah, we had a pretty disturbing evening last night. Let me share it with you. Hang tight. I'll be right back. Okay, so we were actually out at a restaurant. We were out pretty late with the family, and I started getting notifications on my smartphone through the Ford app that there was a disturbance with my truck, and the alarm was going off. And at the time, I had absolutely no idea what could be happening. I have a camera inside of the truck that I was able to turn on, and I didn't see anything. So, I was assuming that there could have been some type of an issue. Maybe there was something going on in the area, maybe some tractor trailer, something going by, causing, enough of a ground disturbance to set the alarm off. But the alarm actually went off a total of 5 times last night before we got home. So we get home kind of late, and I go to take a shower, and I can hear the alarm going off with the truck. And I already went and I looked inside of it. I didn't see anything going on. As soon as I get out of the shower, I come out to the truck, and I'm trying to figure out what in the heck is going on and why the alarm keeps going off. So I get inside of the truck, and I sit here, and I start the truck up. I start looking in different areas, including where I know the sensors are that detect interior motion inside of the vehicle, and I can't figure out what the heck is going on. So I'm looking all over the vehicle. I pop the hood open. I'm looking underneath the hood. I'm looking for anything that might indicate there is a rodent infestation. Maybe, sometimes if you look under the hood, you can see some damaged wires. You can see insulation. You can see things that they've gathered, brought to your vehicle for nesting materials as well. I didn't see any signs of any of that. So I moved the truck slightly, thinking, well, maybe there's something in the area that's causing it to have a problem. I pull the truck up over there and park it, go back inside the house. 5 minutes later, the alarm goes off again. So I come out here, I'm sitting in the truck. I'm like, you know what? Something is going on. I don't know what or why the alarm's going off, but let's get down to the bottom of this. So I take the truck, I start driving it around the yard, and I'm driving it for several times around the yard, and I'm thinking maybe there's a roach, or maybe there's a spider that's blocking the sensor up top, and the sensor is being triggered because of that, because there are interior motion detection sensors as part of the standard alarm that come on these trucks. So maybe a bug is crawling in front of it, and it's setting the alarm off. I've heard that that's happened before. So I just want to drive around. I want to figure out what might be going on. I get back here. I start tapping on panels. I start trying to figure out what it could be. And I'm just sitting here waiting to see if something comes out to block the sensor and cause the alarm to go off. And lo and behold, I hear a noise coming from behind the dash of my truck, like this area down here. And I don't know what it is. So I start tapping on different areas. I start hitting, tapping, and trying to figure out what could be causing that sound, because it sounds like a rustling sound. And instantly I thought field mouse, maybe a small rat. I don't know. I thought something could be, and maybe even a lizard. I didn't know. So I'm sitting here, I'm tapping on stuff, nothing's happening. So I do what I did in the RV. I open up all the doors. I blare the music as loud as I can for a while. We don't have anybody around us, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm blaring the music as loud as I can, trying to figure out a way to flush whatever's in the truck out. Then I go and I get my peppermint spray. I start spraying peppermint all underneath the hood, underneath the panels, underneath the seats. I'm just dousing the interior and the exterior with peppermint to see if that might even work. And I let the truck sit for a while with the doors open. I go inside, come back out, and it's getting late at this point. I'm just trying to figure out what the heck this is, or if this is something I can deal with the next day. So I hop in the truck again. I take it for a drive. I drive all up and down the roads. I drive almost to town, and then I come back and I sit here and I don't hear anything. So I'm like, okay, so that's good. So what I decide to do is I go to my shop and I grab one of my Reolink cameras that I have just in a box. This is actually one that I was going to put somewhere else in my shop. And I grab one of my portable power stations, which is back there on the floor, and I plug it in. I connect it to the Wi-Fi, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put this thing on the most sensitive setting for movement I can. And yeah, I wanted to see what I could find if there was anything indeed moving in the vehicle. And I set the lens so it has a good broad view of everything going on, at least everything that I was able to capture with the field of view that it had. I go back inside of the house and I'm watching TV with my wife, and I'm just staring at the camera the whole time. I don't even have to worry about the motion detection going off because I'm just staring at it. And all of a sudden, guess what pops out? Now, when I first saw this little guy inside of my truck, it scared the crap out of me, thinking, how in the world did this thing get inside of my truck? It's not as big as it looks, but when I was watching it on video, this thing looked huge. And I'm thinking, what in the world? How did a rat get into my truck? I can't find any rat droppings. I can't find anything that indicates he's been in there. So I start realizing that when my motion detection alarm started going off was when the rat somehow got into the truck. And I decided to come outside and wait until he got to an area where I could open up the door and I could grab him with some gloves and essentially just get him out of the truck quickly. So I saw where he'd crawled under here, and then he had crawled out this way, and he was working his way over here. And I'm thinking, okay, right when he gets to that point, he's going to be pinned between the seat and the door. I'm going to open up the door real quick. He'll be right there, and I will just grab him. I opened up the door. He wasn't there. I could not find him. I have no idea where he went. I looked under the seats. I looked in all the little crawl areas. I looked in the back. I looked behind the little under seat tray storage. I looked everywhere for this guy, and I could not find him anywhere. So I actually figured, okay, so I'm going to get more peppermint spray. I'm going to start spraying into the seats. I'm going to start spraying it around to try to flush him out. And it didn't work. I sprayed everywhere. So I even went in and I got a can of compressed air, the kind you clean your keyboards out with. And you know, if you hold it upside down, you spray it, it comes out in this big, super cold white cloud. It makes a lot of noise. It's super cold. And hopefully that'll at least scare him out. He never came out. I sprayed it everywhere. I could not find him anywhere. So I decided to set traps everywhere. I put 4 large sticky traps inside of the front, 2 on each side. And I put 4 mouse traps on each side, and I baited them with cheese. And I'm like, I'm going to catch this dude. So I go inside of the house, sitting in bed, watching TV, watching my phone, and all of a sudden, he pokes his head out right here. I don't even know how he got there. I'm thinking he somehow got underneath here, maybe next to the seat. I don't know. But he pokes his head out right here. He starts crawling down, and he gets on the sticky pad. And I'm like, game on. So I come out here, got a big welding glove on because I don't want to get bitten by a rat, and open up the door. He freaks out, goes crazy. I take the other pad, I pin him down on it, and I dispose of him properly. Well, get him out of the truck. I reset the 2 traps. I put everything back where it was in the hopes that if there's anything else in here, I will catch him. Thankfully, the entire night went by. The motion detection in the truck didn't go off. The Reolink motion detection didn't go off. And both traps were completely fine when I came out here today to see what was going on. So I don't think I have any more rats in here. But now comes the task of figuring out exactly where they're coming in. And I have a feeling that they're coming in through the air conditioning or through the cabin filter area, because all the research I've done shows that that is likely the highest probability location of where they're getting in. I don't know of where else they could be getting in. I looked at those vents that are behind the back seat. If you have a Super Duty or a lot of vehicles, you probably know what they are. They're essentially depressurization vents to where if you close doors and things like that, it allows a path for air to come out so your windows don't potentially pop out of their framing. So I look back there, those holes are not big enough and they weren't chewed on. There's no signs that anything has tampered or messed with those. So I have to assume it's somewhere underneath the hood. And my best guess is that it is the cabin air filter area, because there's usually ducting that allows air to come through there. And I don't know. I have absolutely no idea. I never got any rats inside of my red truck. I never got any rats inside of my previous truck. I did get rats once inside of a Ford Fusion, but they were only in the hood. Never got inside of the vehicle. So I'm going to pop the hood open. I'm going to look around. I'm going to pop or drop down the glove box. I'm going to look at the cabin filter, and I'm going to see if I can figure out where that guy got into the truck, and hopefully no other rat figures out a path, and I can figure out a way to secure it so that doesn't happen in the future. Okay, so the backstory video took a little longer than I thought, and I don't want this video to be like a 25-minute long video, so we're going to go ahead and end the first segment of this explaining what happened, how I discovered them. I might put some of the equipment I used in the description of the video because, believe it or not, it was actually pretty affordable to set up a camera system as long as your truck is close to your house and you can connect to Wi-Fi, and as long as you have a portable power station. It doesn't have to be an expensive one. I had the DuraCube from GoPower that I've been using in here, and it worked perfectly fine all night. These cameras don't pull a lot of power, so I'll probably link some of the stuff that I used to monitor the inside in the video description. It's cool because it has the motion detection, night vision, all of that stuff, and that's really what helped me determine that there was a mouse in the vehicle and not inside of the engine compartment or some other area. So that was a huge part of me discovering all of this, and the truck coming with its own motion detection system built in for the security system also helped a lot. So we're going to wrap this video up. Again, I'll put links to all of that stuff in the description of this video, and then we'll start a whole nother video on the actual remedy, because I've actually completed it already, and I'm just putting this ending on the first video so you guys know that there will be a second video. So definitely hang tight for that second video, and hopefully you enjoyed this one. Guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.